Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Sureshnie Ryder, and welcome to another session called Study Sesh, brought to you, of course, by Boston Broadcast. I'm back again with AC Botha, and we are unpacking consumers' awareness versus unawareness. AC, I have to tell you, I am the most unaware consumer sometimes. I walk into a store and I spend hours just looking randomly for things. But I'm thinking that this is not what the topic is all about. How do we get consumers to go from being aware to unaware?
So, advancing consumers from unawareness to awareness in advertising involves a strategic process aimed at capturing their attention and reducing them to a product or service or brand. That's basically that in a nutshell.
Okay, so it's identifying a target audience and then finding out what their demographic it might be or what their interests are?
Yeah, so that will be the first step in the process. Let's say we have a brand, health related, eco-friendly brand. Let's say eco-friendly brand. We want to promote this, but we don't know to whom, to when. What are we going to say? So before we do that, we need to have a clear description of our target market. This will enable us to know exactly what message we need to deliver, how we deliver it, and when to deliver it. So to do that, you need to do a demographic, psychographic, and behavioral characteristic target market analysis.
Got it. I like it. So technically, if we're looking for an eco-friendly cleaning product, you're going to aim it at mostly women or moms who are often at the home cleaning the house, or people who are just more conscious of the environment. And then you create your advertising or marketing campaign based around those people and their interests, right?
Exactly. So you know now exactly to whom you're going to market it. So that you ensure that the message resonates with the specific target.
Got it. Now, in a world of advertising and marketing, you know how much clutter they're facing. It is such craziness. Everyone's offering something. What do you need to do to create compelling content in order to stand out so you grab that particular consumer when you're trying to sell them this eco-friendly cleaning product?
Yeah, definitely. The market is oversaturated, most of the markets. So in order for us to effectively grab the attention of the target market, you need to create engaging and relevant advertising materials through either using compelling visuals, captivating headlines, and persuasive messaging that highlights the benefits or unique selling points of the product or service.
Okay, so now that we've identified who this person is going to be, let's say it's going to be targeted at people who love eco-friendly cleaning products, we've also figured out, okay, how do we create this compelling content to draw them in? I think the next thing would be is like, where do we find these people? You know, looking at the correct channels. Are they watching TV? Are they reading the newspapers? Are they on Instagram, TikTok? How do we put our advertising, get them via Google? What do we do next in those channels search?
With the current environment, it's actually awesome because we have all these channels, but now we have our identified market, we have our content. Where do we promote it? When we do our target market analysis, we will identify, okay, let's see, it's a middle-aged, high-income, let's say, for instance, in this case, female target, and according to the data, they mostly use digital channels like social media, internet searches. And we know we're going to put most of our budget spent on digital channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube to provide, let's say, for instance, videos on how to use the eco-friendly product, and a small amount on traditional channels like advertising and billboards, just to reinforce the advertising campaign.
I always look at it, AC, when you and I have these conversations when it comes to marketing and advertising, I always imagine this big dartboard, like a target board, because what we're doing is we're narrowing it down until we get to that bullseye. Because what you're starting off with is this massive sample of identifying the target audience. Lots of people love eco-friendly products, but of that sample, men, women, kids, we know we're looking at women who primarily are the ones who are maybe consuming these products, and then we bring that sample smaller, and then we get to figure out, oh, what is their household income? Could they afford this product? What is their interest? What age group are we looking for? What custom targets are we looking for? And then it gets smaller and smaller. And then once we choose the right channels, we know, oh, this is where she hangs out. She loves Facebook. So instead of then throwing all of our darts everywhere and putting money, oh, we think she might be on Twitter. Oh, we think she loves email. Oh, we think she reads the newspaper. No, we figured out from all of this research and insights, she loves Facebook. And then slowly we get it zoned in, and that's how we hit the target. And then, of course, launching the campaign is super important, because now you're going to implement all of the ideas that you've had and all of the programs that you thought about. How do we go about launching a successful campaign across these channels?
So I think the key here will be to firstly make sure that your message is 100% consistent throughout all the channels. To make sure, if you say on Facebook this type of message, you have this type of message, your advertising on radio, billboards, they all need to resonate so that they sell one brand. It must be connected. And then, of course, your timing and frequency are critical. That will, if your timing and frequency is spot on, it will add to maximizing the exposure of the reach.
Correct. Because obviously, the more you show that advert to that person, it's going to sink in like, oh, this is a product that's available. If they see it once and they happen to be scrolling on Facebook at 2 a.m., they might forget it. But if you decide to, target it and go, okay, there's a recency cap. So how often, or a frequency cap, how often this is going to get played, because then it becomes into their mindset. And then they're like, I saw this advert 2 hours ago and now it's 1 o'clock and now it's 3 o'clock. Oh, I need to go out and get my detergents for the weekend. They're going to remember that. And I think that's a really effective way of bringing all of these elements all together.
Yes. And to add on that, if we touch on timing, if we know, like you mentioned, let's say, for instance, middle-aged women in this case, on Facebook, we know when they are on Facebook, or if it's a television ad, we know when these type of markets are primarily watching television. So it just makes sense to advertise this product in this specific time. Otherwise, you can create the greatest ad, advertising it in the incorrect timing. It's going to cost you money and no return on investment at the end of the day.
Yeah, it won't land if I didn't see it. I'm not going to get it, Yeah, and consistency is key. Just like how you mentioned about how everything has to have the correct look and feel. You can't start with the one advert with the color green. If you want to promote a specific product, don't change things up. Keep it consistent, because consistency is key. Yes. And when you're consistent, you create habits. And when you create those habits, it's going to imprint on somebody's mind. I love this. So AC, now that we've gone through the different steps from target audience identifying, creating compelling content, choosing the right channels, launching this actual campaign, I think the next step is layering. How do we generate some kind of brand exposure? How are we going to get other people to leverage this with us and create these partnerships? I mean, immediately when I think about brand exposure, I think about influencers. Am I on the right track here?
Yeah. 100%. We need to now leverage all the resources we have to get this message out to our target market. So we have a perfect marketing campaign where we're advertising it from our side, but now we need people from the inside to, let's say, infiltrate the target. So influencers these days are critical. A lot of companies brands use influencers to inform their target market, their followers, the influencers' followers, and we can also tap into partnerships, using certain events to market our brand in that certain events, and publicity. PR is always critical in this market, in this environment.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, actually, when you think about it, with public relations. And public relations doesn't just have to be about getting an influencer. It's about maybe getting an interview on radio, or getting this particular product onto a TV feature. I know as a consumer, I have bought so many products purely based on seeing influencers, and the impact of influencers that they are making in the market is something that we cannot ignore. They're the new currency when you think about it when it comes to marketing. It's also an easier way for big brands to use these micro influencers or macro influencers to create the impact. I bought so many cleaning products also because I love seeing an organic journey. I love seeing something authentic. I also love seeing how the person who's a lot like me using the actual product, and I'm like, oh, because I learn when I see. So I love things like that. So I like that you're saying that we can generate together.
Yeah, and just to add on that, let's say, for instance, we take a guy like Siya Kolisi. I mean, if he now talks about this specific eco-friendly product on his socials, we're all just going to follow him and we're all just going to buy it because we all love this guy and he's super trustworthy. And so it's an excellent form to get the brand out there.
Yeah, we tap into their own brands. That's what we're doing. My friend, I've bought Lay's chips only because of Francois Pinault. I stopped buying other chips. That is my reality. It's because Francois Pinault started eating Lay's chips and I wanted to also. Do you see how effective a campaign can be? All of us. We're all in. Sour cream and chives, my friend. We're all in. So when we look at an entire campaign, and let's say if I was a brand, I would like to know what my ROI was. I'd like to know, hey, I put this amount of money. How many people actually engaged with my advert? How many people actually went out, clicked through? Because a click-through rate is very important. That is a great measurement for engagement. But how many people actually went out and moved the product off the shelf and bought this particular cleaning product? So I know that research and insights are very important because now we're throwing all these darts and we're telling the client, hey, by the way, at the end of this campaign, we are going to get you 100,000 likes, or we're going to get 50,000 impressions on Facebook. And you know what? Of those 50,000, at least 1,000 people are going to go out and buy this cleaning product. That as a client would make me excited. How important is it when it comes to audience measuring and getting these kind of insights for a brand?
No, it's absolutely vital. It's all fair and good if we have all these promises, but at the end of the day, the client wants to know, is it worth it? What if they spend 20 million and they get nothing back or 10 back? What's the purpose of it? So they need to know if is it effective, and if it's not effective, what do we do about it? So, and advertising, there's different matrix systems that we use. We look at reach, impressions, click-through rates, website traffic, and brand awareness surveys. We then analyze the data to understand what aspects of the campaign were successful and identifies areas of improvement. So that we can take to our clients and say, listen, this worked. Let's tweak the other section that's not so effective. Spend a bit more on the section that works more. Adjust it a bit based on the data and go forward.
Yeah, because that's part of strategy. That's exactly what you're doing from the very beginning of identifying this target audience all the way to telling the client, hey, we noticed that the woman that you were targeting couldn't reach the advert on Facebook for whatever reason. And let's try a new strategy. Instead of just saying, okay, we're done, we're giving up. We don't give up. We just find new ways of recreating and being aware of, like, being honest to say, we noticed this didn't work. However, here's a solution that we would like to recommend. And I think that's extremely important to keep a campaign successful. And then finally, tell me about iterating and optimizing. This is a very important word. It's a great buzzword, optimizing.
Optimizing. Yeah. We now have all this data. We can look at what the data is saying, what's working, like I said, look at the matrix, get the feedback from the consumer, and then make adjustments to the advertising strategy. Like I mentioned, it's a continuous process but it's critical to not just end with generating brand exposure and measuring. But you need to go and look at the data, take the data, take the positives, take the negatives, adjust accordingly, and go out again for any future campaigns. You have this data, and you create an even more effective advertising campaign.
Fantastic. I love that. I now understand all of my steps, from target audience, creating compelling content, just choosing and targeting to the right channels to create effectiveness, launching the campaign, generating brand exposure and almost creating a symbiotic relationship with public relations, with brands and partnerships with influencers, etc. And then, of course, measuring those analytics and seeing what has created for the client, and then taking exactly what you've learned and now you optimize. So, AC, now that I understand this, the first thing I think about is, do you remember Leonardo DiCaprio? And he'd said, sell me this pen. Okay. And then I thought, okay, it's not as easy as, oh, here's my pen. Please give it to Sia Khaleesi and see if he can make a plan and then make this a big thing. There's so much more thought and strategy that goes behind a marketing campaign. And I think if you follow these steps, you could actually land a very effective one.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people out there think, I have a product or a brand, just put it out there, and after a year they say, oh, unfortunately it's not successful. No, you can have a great product, have a great brand, and follow the theory of advertising, the steps that we have received based on past experiences of brands and consumer insights. So not very intricate steps, but make sure that you follow the steps from firstly knowing who your target market is to creating an ad that is creative and bespoke for your market up until getting exposure out there and then evaluating what you've done and to optimize on your strengths and go out again and focus on your strengths, and you'll see you'll get the return on investment at the end of the day.
Oh, I love that. And I think in more and more that you do this, you actually understand what marketing entails and how it all comes together to create the successful campaigns. AC, this is where we leave hashtag Study Sesh with you. I hope you have an amazing day ahead. And thank you so much for helping us understand taking consumers from unawareness to awareness. Cheers. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And that was another wrap-up of hashtag Study Sesh brought to you by Boston Broadcast. Stay tuned for more information. Stay tuned for more topics. Stay tuned for more modules as we unpack them in snackable content. We'll see you soon.